What's going on, Guardians? I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of our solo prophecy dungeon guide. In today's video, we're going to quickly discuss the build, and we're also going to be going over, I'm going to be showing you exactly what I did in the dungeon boss fight and talk about the things I was thinking when going through each of the rooms. So we're gonna hop right into the first room. I have the entire fight recorded. As you can see, it's 29 minutes. This video is not going to be 29 minutes. We're just going to go over each of the rooms and maybe quickly the actual boss room as well, because that can be kind of tricky. So maybe I'll go over what happens the first time through. Let's hop right into it though. Some things to note about the build. Oh, also, I'm really sorry about the audio in the last two videos. I don't know why. I know why it didn't record game volume, but I have to go back and fix it. It's a pretty easy fix, but yeah, anyway, in the future there will be game audio, obviously. But so the first thing we need to talk about, for the weapons, we're using Recluse, Mountaintop, and Anarchy. We're using Devour, Voidwalker again, and the strategy here is using Devour to both kill Scions, and so we kill Scions so we get all our health back, so the big bosses don't deal as much damage to us, and we can constantly heal back up to full. So the first thing you just saw there was using my Nova Bomb aggressively. Nova Bomb is another way to proc Devour now that they've updated it. So what we're going to use a lot of the time is when you first get into a room, the goal is to play extremely aggressively and get that first boss to disappear, and then you've kind of created what I called a safe space, and you can then use that safe space to slowly take down the other two boomers and the other two bosses, because you no longer are going to be taking damage in that corner. So again, right here I'm using high energy fire, and that's giving my Mountaintop a little bit of boosted damage. Depending on your light level, the final rooms are going to change in terms of how many shots needed to kill a boomer, and you will no longer be able to kill him with 2 shots depending on your light level. So that's something to keep in mind. And so now I've cleared out 2 rooms, and my goal is just basically to take this slowly and make sure that I kill all the boomers and just get to the boss room now. That's my goal. I can take as long as I want to do that. And as you see, I just killed, we're going to skip forward a little bit. I killed the ogre, and then I'm going to take my time killing these Scions here, and we're going to hop right into the boss room here in a second. So Anarchy is our big damage weapon against the boss. We are using Oppressive Darkness, so I'm going to throw my grenade there. I actually hit my grenade somehow. I thought I missed it. But so now we're doing damage to the boss, and again, it's pretty simple here doing damage, obviously. One of the things I really prioritized in this run compared to previous runs was getting my Anarchy damage on the boss, and then really making sure that the snipers died. Some of these rooms were really scuffed and really bad, and I definitely could have done more DPS. And what you're going to see at the end is I end up going through 4 rooms in order to clear this fight. So just skipping ahead here, as you can see, I'm kind of taking my time, making sure that the snipers are dead and that my Anarchy tick damage is still damaging the boss and doing some significant damage. Right here, we're at the end. This is another spot where, depending on if you have your grenade or not, you should be throwing your grenade at the boss here to get that bonus damage. So we're gonna hop into the second room. I like to wait for all my cooldowns to come back up. I thought it was really important to be able to have both Devour from my Nova Bomb available to me and from my grenade in case Devour ever ran out. So hopping into the next room here, this is probably, in my opinion, the hardest of the 4 rooms to accomplish. One thing I want to point out that I didn't necessarily do in this clip right here, in this section right here, but if you're having trouble remembering like the colors and stuff like that for the light or dark totems, one thing you should do is when you first spawn into the room, just keep your eye on one totem and one totem only, because sometimes they like swap colors right at the end. And that way you 100% know exactly one of the totems. And the whole goal of this encounter and the whole goal of this fight is to get rid of one totem, so you have one less boss shooting at you, and you have, again, a safe space for you. So we go here, we're going to play aggressive, and we're going to Nova Bomb this boomer. And the reason we did Nova Bomb that boomer is because we know behind us there should be a dark one. We're struggling a little bit here. One of the things I recommend that I wasn't doing before this like time that I succeeded was I wasn't really using my anarchy in the ad rooms, in using it for ad clear, and that's actually not, you should definitely be doing that, because if you're running like a bunch of grenade launcher ammo finders and scavengers and things like that, you're gonna be able to get your ammo back for the boss fight. I was always worried about not having enough ammo for the boss, and that was a really big mistake that I was making, and it was causing me a lot of problems. So once again, that time we actually screwed up. Well, we actually like kind of messed up where our anarchy kill on the second boomer was it created light motes. So I didn't panic there, and I used my anarchy again to make sure that that next boomer died really fast, so that I would have the white motes to, or the light motes to get back to this boss. And then we spawn the ogre, and again, it becomes a relatively, it just becomes a much safer encounter when you don't have a boss shooting at you in one of the corners, and you can use things like your rift, or on a titan or hunter, your barricades or your dodges. And like if you're on a hunter, you can dodge and go invisible and just run back to the safer area of the map. If you're on a titan, you can barricade this section to create basically a wall between you and all the damage you're taking, because you won't be getting shot in the back and things like that. So again, just the key is to play really aggressively in the first, when you're first getting into the room, to try and get that first boss down as quickly as possible, and then just playing slowly and making sure you're clearing ads. Once again, I don't know if I do this in the other rooms or not, but definitely using your mountaintop to kill scions when they like spawn on top of each other is really good, because they don't have nearly as much time to you know, multiply and make it so that there's just an overwhelming number of scions. So oftentimes after I killed an ogre like this, I refocused and made sure to kill all of the scions in the room so that I wouldn't be overwhelmed by ads and damage. And again, one of the things here is because now that you have 2 rooms down, you can safely move between the 2 areas, causing your enemies to have to rotate around a lot. And instead right here, I actually run at the boss. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but I think I was mainly focused on killing a set of scions there. So, and with Devour, I can do that because as soon as I kill them, I get all my health back, and I can move across the map to a safe area. So this room's pretty much done. We just have to focus on getting these last scions, or getting this last set of boomers, and it's taking our time. And one of the things I recommend is definitely just take your time, play patiently, and go slowly, because you have a bunch of safe space on the map now, and there's no need to panic. In fact, if you're running low on ammo, killing scions is a great way to get more ammo for the boss encounters, for the boss half of the encounter. So I definitely recommend, once you do this, once you get that first room and even that second part, you can just play a whole lot slower, because you have all of this extra space that you can move around and not get shot in, and that's really important. So right here, we're going to pop Devour. We're just going to keep going. And apparently, I guess it takes me quite a while to clear this room. And so I guess I finally cleared it here. We can just go back and see what happens. It doesn't, oh wait, hold up. We have to go back further. So right here, it looks like I killed that boomer. And the boomers stacked up on top of each other, which was great for me, because I easily was able to kill them all and move on to the next little part. I like killing the scions after, like if there are more scions on the map, I prefer to kill them, because that lets me get my cooldowns back and get my important stuff. So again, we're just going to go through the boss encounter pretty quickly, because you saw it the first time. Again, I'm mostly just letting Anarchy do its thing, because I know that I'm going to try and kill the boss in 4 cycles, and I'm not really going to worry about trying to get 3 cycles done. The key is, if you can get if you can consistently beat the rooms each time you spawn into them, then it doesn't really matter how many damage cycles you have to do, because you're so confident in the rooms themselves, and you're only going to get tripped up by like small little things. So as you can see here, I did well over half his health, but not quite enough where I'm going to be able to kill him in another phase. And I'm just waiting for my cooldowns here. So once I get my cooldowns, we're going to spawn into the next room. And again, spawning in, this is the most important part, because you can die really fast when you initially spawn in, because there's so much damage on the map. Right there, I took a look at the totem. I saw the dark one, so I immediately Nova Bombed this boomer, because I knew that I was in a dark spot. And then right now, I popped my rift here because I was low on health, and I knew I still had Devour. So as soon as I get one kill, I reset Devour, and now I can play aggressively again. I left a moat behind, which was actually really lucky for me, because leaving a moat behind meant that I could reset my dark moat timer back to 30 seconds, and I could kill this boomer. And then as soon as you do that, all of a sudden I saw that this totem was dark, so I went over here instead, and all of a sudden now I have a safe spot in the room, and it becomes really easy. I think the room we were previously in is the hardest room, because of the distribution between dark and light spaces and how open they are to a boss dealing damage to you. And I just recommend that if you die in a round and you feel like, you know, you couldn't find a safe space between light and dark in a certain room, it's probably because there wasn't a safe space and you just got unlucky on the totems. And I recommend not quitting in that case and just keep trying and keep trying. Because that certainly happened in my runs. I definitely ran into times where I was like, all right, the only like white space, or the only white space I can get those light motes in is on a certain part of the map where the boss is going to be shooting me. And I found it really tedious and troublesome, and frustrating at times. But I highly recommend that you don't worry about those things, and that you'll be able to do this pretty easily after you get the hang of it from doing so many runs. So again, this is pretty obvious. I'm just killing the knights and stuff. And again, we're just looking for boss damage. I ended up throwing my grenade here, it looks like. Oh, is this the time oh no, I popped Devour here. So again, this is a run where I'm gonna do 4 runs, and at least 2 of the times I didn't even get to proc Oppressive Darkness on him a second time. So 3 damage phases is definitely possible with this Mountaintop Anarchy loadout. And then we spawn into the last room. Personally, this is one of the easier rooms for me. And again, we're going to Nova Bomb. We're going to play aggressive for that first set of light motes. We might use Anarchy here. I'm not sure. But again, using Anarchy as a heavy weapon to kill the boomer is a completely effective strategy, and something that at the beginning you may not even be thinking of doing. So again, I highly recommend using Anarchy. We were running Transversive Steps as our exotic. I don't think I mentioned that. And that just gave me a way to move around the map and reload my gun freely, like in all the other encounters from the previous video. So yeah, so we're going to go to the final boss here, and it's going to be pretty easy. We're just going to kill him right at the first stage, and that's the encounter. So hope you guys enjoyed this discussion. I hope it wasn't too fast. Obviously, this was a 30-minute video, and we did this in about 13-12 minutes. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this kind of gave you an understanding of what you should be looking to do when you first spawn into a new room, and when you are in the actual rooms going through the encounter and thinking about what you have to do next. The most important part is playing aggressive at the beginning, and then playing to stay alive after you get a boss down. Because if you play aggressive at the beginning and you can't get the first boss down and you die, that's perfectly fine. You're just going to restart the encounter anyway. The bigger issue is when you get a boss or 2 down and then you die to something really dumb because you're out of position, and that's really frustrating and can be pretty demoralizing. So remember, play aggressive at the beginning and play safe at the end, and you'll definitely beat this dungeon. Hopefully these 2 videos helped you. I'll leave a link to the first part of the guide in the description below. And yeah, I'll see you in another one. Bye.